Per usual, this year's final game was held at UNLV's Thomas and Mack Center, normally home to the Runnin' Rebels. But this time, it was Portland and New York with a showdown down the Strip. Vegas' Summer League Championship game featured some high-flying acrobatics and fancy finishes like this one. McBride gets the ball rolling with the deuce. On the other end, Watford with the step-through and response. The sophomore would pop off with 19 points and 3 steals by the end of the match, getting it done on both ends of the floor. Next possession, ball loose, Ferran Hunt on the hunt with the hops and the flush. The gallop down the middle, and the former Mustang brings the Knicks within 1. The score is 8-7. Meanwhile, Randall gets the flyby and the swish, and then Williams feeds Watford like it's the Bacchanal buffet. 23-19, 5:40 left in the second quarter. Williams, step back, 3 is money. And how about this? Hand in my face, no problemo, right in front of Sims. The undrafted free agent from Arizona, adding some heat to the desert with 22 points by the end of the scuffle. Lozada then zips it over to Keon Johnson, who spins on Sims, feeling lucky at the roulette table. Quentin Grimes then follows through with the high elevation and nice touch off the glass in the third. The Knicks would continue to mount a comeback in the fourth quarter, a line drive triple by McBride to spark a 7-0 run. Jericho Sims jumped into the mix, exacting his revenge with his head high up at the rim. Chipping in again, it's Hunt once more off the misfire, 64-57 with 7 minutes left in the fourth. But before things got ugly, Portland regrouped. Watford sinks a 3, and in transition, the game MVP dumps it off to the 6'10" Alexander, who puts the cherry on top. This would mark the Blazers' second ever Summer League championship. They are also the first team ever to receive a championship ring. 85-77 is your final score, with Rip City claiming Sin City as its own. Let's bring it back over to Grace. Well, there was a lot of jam-packed action in this year's Summer League, so let's break down the best of the best. It's your NBA Summer League top 5 plays from Sin City. First up, Kings Magic. It's Ellis off the fake handoff, drives to the hole, but met by Emmanuel Terry, who says, "Not here, not now." Gets the game-saving block to force double overtime, razzling and dazzling with the high elevation. You can see it from here. No help D, no problem. Moving on to number 4, it's Chi-Town versus the Big Apple. That's Grimes on the drive with the no-look dime to Sims, who rocks the rim. Shifty and nifty to the nonchalant big man, who just makes it look easy. These two had a million highlights to show this Summer League. It's the Cougar Longhorn connection coming soon to an arena near you. All right, it's off to number 3, a design play for Kevon Harris, who flies high for the finish. Minot says on his head, Harris goes mean muggin'. Harris would wind up with 13 points in a 7-point victory over the Denver Nuggets. Now let's pass it all over to number 2. It's Mamu Kelashvili with the spin to the rim and the one-handed jam, hopping his way from Seton Hall to a poster and an all-first-team selection. Get to know his name now, because Mamu is that man. But he's not the only one who's got that dog in him. Enter Kings Magic once again. Off the inbound with 2 to shoot, pump fake 3, and a dash of Murray magic against the Magic. Keegan ties it up 87-all with 0.2 seconds left on the clock. That one looked good from a mile away. And don't forget about Murky, who snagged that game-saving steal in the first place to send the game to overtime. You know, Keegan Murray may have been the number 4 pick in this year's NBA draft, but he's our number 1 pick here for your NBA Summer League top 5 plays. Sending it back over to you, Grace.
So how about you? What do you think?
Well, Grace, I think in a league dominated now by a lot of player empowerment, kind of trailblazed by LeBron James, it's not good, as we've been seeing, to have a disgruntled superstar. I mean, you've seen a lot of teams like the Boston Celtics make their way up without having a top one or two guy in the league. So in that matter, if it is a matter of Steve Nash versus Kevin Durant, I think you do look for a package for Kevin Durant. Now, of course, there's no value that you're going to get for Kevin Durant that's equally valuable, but at the same token, you can't have a superstar who will refuse to play or play with no chemistry at all with the rest of your team. So if I was the Brooklyn Nets, I would at some point have to settle and look for a better package without hopefully making another East Coast or West Coast competitor better, right? Try and dish them out to a team that you think may not have as big of a chance in the grand scheme of things.
Well, but before we end the show, I want to hear your guys' hot takes going into next season, starting with you, Ryan.
The Los Angeles Lakers will make it to the Western Conference Finals and beyond. Austin Reeves, Juan Toscano Anderson, Scottie Pippen Jr. This team is only getting younger and a retirement home no longer.
Intern show. From the Turner Studios in Atlanta, good night.